Hello, and welcome to the very first Scratch Tips video. Today we'll be taking a deeper look at the new Scratch 3.0 and how it compares to the old Scratch 2.0. First, let's take a look at the new website interface and design. Scratch 3.0 features a totally new project page with a new design for the instructions and notes and credits fields, as well as the comments section. There is now a nifty button to copy a link to the project instead of having to copy it from the address bar. Next, let's talk about a big change from Scratch 2.0 to 3.0, 3.0's use of HTML5. Before, Scratch 2.0 relied on Adobe Flash Player, which meant that in order to edit or view a project, you needed Flash installed on your device. Unfortunately, this meant that mobile devices could not play, much less edit, projects. However, with support for Adobe Flash ending in 2020, this was not a viable option for future versions of Scratch. So the transition to an HTML5-based Scratch was made, and along with it came support for mobile devices, though it is a bit awkward for the time being. Now let's look at the new project editor. The most striking difference is the fact that the stage is now on the right. This is a very big change for those of us who have gotten so used to the stage on the left, but in my opinion, it's a bit more intuitive, though it will take some getting used to. You can now scroll through the blocks, though you can still use the tabs on the left to navigate quicker. Speaking of blocks, the blocks are much more colorful, for better or for worse, and feature a bigger design for easier touching on mobile devices. Several new blocks have been added, as well as some updated ones. These include, but are not limited to, an easier system for sprite layers, new options for costume and backdrop recorder blocks, sound effect blocks to change the pitch and pan of a sound, an interesting drag mode block, an operator block to check if a string contains another string, and a helpful block to return which number something is in a list. Whew. Alright. On the subject of list, they look a bit different when displayed, but retain the same basic interface. Now let's talk about the new costume editor. Unlike 2.0, it defaults to vector, which I think is a bit more intuitive for beginners, besides providing better graphics. Vector mode has remained mostly the same, with the main difference being the look of the buttons. Bitmap mode is also largely unchanged, with the bitmap graphics still limited to 360 by 480 pixels. Next, let's take a look at the sound editor. The new recording feature is a bit cleaner, with a new auto-trimming sort of feature. As for the editor itself, there are many options for sound effects, but the option to select only part of a sound is noticeably absent, but will hopefully be added in the future. Many new assets have been added to the costume and sound library, along with the option to choose a random one, called Surprise. Well, that about does it for this video, and though Scratch 3.0 may be new and unfamiliar, I think it's a necessary step towards the continuation and improvement of Scratch. If you liked this video, feel free to press the thumbs up, and if you didn't, that's okay too. If you have any questions or suggestions for further videos, you can comment them below, and when they come out, my next videos will be here and here. Until then, see you next time.